Coalition-backed Syrian defense forces have managed to clear the first few neighborhoods of Raqqa. Outside the city, we ran into Clara Raqqa, one of the unit commanders here and a native of the city itself, just back from one of the fronts.
In the city, we can see that the city of Raqqa is above ground, and there is another city below ground. Raqqa was a city that was a mosaic of people that turned into a place of women's enslavement. The place where women were enslaved has to be liberated by the hands of women.
It's a city whose brutality transcends our current vocabulary. Raqqa, the capital of the so-called caliphate, ruled by ISIS since 2013, where Yazidi, Kurd, and even Arab women were sold on the streets as sex slaves, where public executions and beheadings were a regular occurrence, where journalists and aid workers were held hostage and murdered. These are the faces of those who lived in Raqqa, now in a hastily put-together camp. Children who had little choice but to witness the stuff of nightmares. The lines of good and evil blurred for them. This woman from Raqqa married an ISIS member, a foreigner from the Caucasus, who she says had an administrative job.
ISIS made a mockery of us. There is nothing else we can say.
When they were running away, they say that they were also fired on by ISIS fighters who were basically ordering them to return.
And then there are also those who went willingly to join the so-called caliphate. It became a magnet for foreign fighters and others. This woman is from the Caucasus. She came with her husband and 4 children, claiming they wanted to live in the caliphate. She says they were lured online by the promise of Islamic utopia and a job for her husband. This Syrian woman is originally from Homs. She was an English teacher. She eventually married a Moroccan man who went through ISIS military training, although she claims he never fought. ISIS, she says, never allowed the population to escape their brutality.
So when you walk in the streets of Raqqa, there's big screens that are showing
especially
beheadings.
the new things. They have, projector. Yes, and we are walking in streets and just watching these videos.
How are you going to explain this to your children?
I pray that my children forget this without asking me. They are all the time thinking about war, about killing, and when they see a video of cutting head.
The battle for the ISIS capital, it's just begun, and what lies ahead is unknown for those who are fighting to liberate it and for the civilians who are still trapped inside. Arwa Damon, CNN, and Isa, Syria.